This is a guide to journalists who are just waking up to the fact that something happened and you're not quite sure what, and you're going, what the fuck? Now, transsexuals are people living with gender dysphoria, adults living with gender dysphoria and choosing to live as the opposite sex. And abusive males have been using that to kind of deal with the fact that they can't live in a world where they can subordinate and harm women anymore. And because they were kind of a bit conned by this idea of feminism as women being controlled by the political press, that's the in that they've used. So I'm going to give you a guide to dealing with them. Now, what you're dealing with largely with the prominent and most violent of trans activists is abusive males who have created a false identity for themselves. And that idealised identity for themselves requires an object onto which they project the things that they don't like about themselves, which they've been using turf for. And they've been seeking a mirror in women which they haven't got, because women know how to recognise abusive and predatory behaviour. And now they're getting really, really angry. Now, you might have heard women shouting Davo. What that means is, with these people, everything that they say is a mirror. You have to imagine them talking to a mirror. They're telling you everything that you need to know about themselves, and they're just projecting it onto other people. I'm going to give you an example. This is John Ozimek, Jane Fay, explaining to you the way that it works by accusing somebody else of it. The way it works is simple. For the press and media, they pose as victims eternally. They then use their status as cis women, trans women, to invade space and intimidate, sure in the knowledge that nobody in the patriarchy would ever call them out. By the way, John, yes we would. Dear journalists, I would have a look at the Still Here conference that Dawn Butler-Brent spoke at. And I would pay attention to Mesmac Gendered Intelligence and the organised network of males whose focus has been undermining safeguarding and doing that to children and women's organisations. I quite like this pattern of behaviour. It's much easier to deal with than, other stuff where there's actually conscious thought. Abusive male pattern behaviour, it does not change, does it? Tick, tick, tick.